No doubt about it, Kelly, but you do an incredible job. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. It's really been helpful. We appreciate it. Jeffrey, so you heard Kelly's reporting from the White House. We've seen the press conferences every afternoon. The logic is absolutely extraordinary. Well, the WHO test doesn't reach our standards. That's like saying somebody in Europe who builds a rocket ship that flies to Mars doesn't meet our standards. So we're going to build our own rocket ship, which keeps blowing up on the launch pad. And we're still not going to ask for those tests. And we still aren't getting answers on when every American that wants to be tested can be tested. That's what this administration promised us several weeks ago. And again, I'm not bringing this up to be a pain. I'm bringing this up because, that's how we map in our community. That's how you map in your community. That's how every American community maps on where this virus is, where it is not, who has it, who doesn't have it. Right now, we're whistling in the dark. We're shutting down the American economy. We're telling people to go home, which is all we can do because we're in the dark now. Because this administration won't get tests to doctors.
Right. Well, we all know, or we all suspect, that there are more people around us who are infected than we know about, and we worry about ourselves and our families. But listening to you talk to Kelly, I realized that there is something, an even bigger issue underlying this, because this is one specific issue. The testing is a hugely important issue, but it's one in a basket of 5 or 6 or 7 different national challenges at the moment. The underlying issue here is trust. We don't, when the White House at this point says something, we don't necessarily believe it. And that's an undergirding problem. And, if you spend 3 years frittering away your credibility, we've talked about this before. This is the first external crisis of serious note that the Trump administration has faced. Many of the crises before this were self-inflicted in a kind of way. You spend so much time frittering away credibility of the executive. Then when you need to come out and say, look, here are the challenges, here are the things we need to do, here are the things where we're not good yet, but here's where we're getting better. We in our profession and the typical American citizen look and say, I don't know. I just don't know who to trust here. And that's its own kind of infection. And that's a terrible thing.
Well, Mika, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I've started to hear now this argument seep into sort of the ether, which is, we're past the test phase. Let's not worry about, what? Don't worry about the test phase. Let's move on to the Let's move on to the mitigate. Let's move on to the, no.
Yeah.
That's like me hiring a builder saying, I need you to build me a house. And the builder goes, okay, well, great, I'll do that. I realize he doesn't know how to build the foundation. But then he's telling me he's going to start building the chimney. No, I don't want to see the chimney. I don't want to see the entertainment room layout. I want you to build my foundation. That's where we are right now. We've got people in San Francisco that are supposed to be locked down. They don't know where the virus is. New York City's trying to figure out whether to lock down all of New York City, whether to close the bars, whether to close the restaurants. I would say, in an abundance of caution, if you don't know who has the coronavirus because you don't have the testing, you're faced with this choice of locking things down because we don't have the testing.
It's ridiculous.
It is costing small businesses, mid-sized businesses, large businesses, hundreds of billions of dollars because they're just having to guess. And they're having to make, wisely, the most extreme decision, which is we've got to keep everybody separated. If you have the tests, then you can make smarter, more focused decisions that don't wreck the lives of small business owners across America.
It's very clear that the testing is a massive fail. Anthony Fauci said it every step of the way, and we're still in a